What's up guys, Cameron here. Are you thinking about moving to Idaho, but you are still not sure and doing a little bit more research on these Idaho winters, specifically Boise, Idaho winters? Well, I got you covered in this video. We're gonna go over all of that, and I'm gonna tell you exactly what you need to know about how to prepare and make yourself ready for Idaho winters. Let's get into it. I've been an agent here for the last 7 years, and I'd love to use my local knowledge and expertise to help you make a plan to find the perfect home here in the Treasure Valley. If that's you and you're thinking of making that move, find my information down below, get a hold of me. I'd love to meet you and help you with your move to Idaho. So the catch to this winter wonderland here in Idaho, these mild winters, is the inversions. And as you saw yesterday, it was sunny, beautiful day, amazing. But this is how that morning started out. And we have a little bit more snow than yesterday. After living in Idaho for like a year or two, you're gonna be totally acclimated to the weather here. What you get in high desert climates is basically really hot and dry in the summer, mildly cold in the wintertime. Like, not crazy. I mean, northern Idaho gets way colder. They get way more snow.
Snow. We need more snow. Can't have enough snow.
Indeed.
Basically, what you can expect on an average year is about 18 inches in the valley, but that doesn't stick around. So those snowfalls are like very few and far between. And like it actually snowed this morning. And as you can see, there's no snow on the ground because it's like maybe a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch. And then by afternoon, when temperatures hit like high 30s, low 40s, it all melts away in the heat of the day. Today is actually a really awesome day because the sun came out, but the morning time, the inversion, which if you haven't heard of inversion, we're gonna get into that because that's the catch with Idaho winters. They're super mild. They're like really, really not bad at all, but there's the inversion. Let's talk about it. What is an inversion exactly? Well, basically, it's when a warm pocket of air moves over a colder pocket of air, traps the cold air down in the valley, you've got an inversion. And look at, I mean, if you just look around, like no sunlight. You can kind of see a little bit peeking through right there, but like it's super foggy. I don't know if it's coming through on the camera a ton. That's the inversion experience, if you will. And it's really cold. I actually wish I brought a heavier jacket. My hands are freezing. Hold on, let's see. What is the temperature this morning? 21 degrees, high of 33. So we're gonna get above freezing, technically. And so it's just, yeah, that just traps this cold air in. And what does it feel like to live here in Idaho and to like live during an inversion? Well, the last 2 weeks, barring yesterday, because yesterday we finally got some sunlight. Actually, I had some family post. She's like, we got sunlight for the first day in 9 days. And she's like soaking in the sun and the vitamin D and everything. Because honestly, the only thing I can say that I think of when I think of like the inversion and Idaho winters and the way that makes you feel like emotionally is it's kind of like when a dementor kind of sets in over the city and you feel like you're never going to be happy again and you're freezing cold also. What is that? Harry Potter #4 with the Dementors? It's kind of like Idaho's own little Dementor. You feel like you're never going to be happy again because you haven't seen the sun in a long time. That's the downside of Idaho winters is however our geography's set up, it's just like the recipe for like the perfect storm for we get inversions quite often. Although usually it's like January, February that we get the inversions, whereas like this year it's early December and we've already got them coming in. But the plus side to these inversions, if you're dressed for it and you bring some gloves and a heavier jacket, you've got like this totally beautiful winter wonderland. Like it's just gorgeous. And this is just like a park out here in Nampa, kind of like on my way to work. But it'll be interesting to see actually if this is still here by this afternoon. Because right now it's like, okay, this snow is here to stay. But I mean, very easily by this afternoon, the fog could burn off and we have full sunlight this afternoon. I mean, that's that's the possibility. Or it could just stick around all day long and you don't see the sun for another full 24 hours.
Real quick, if you're liking this video but you want to know about other areas in different suburbs of the Treasure Valley, make sure to click the link below. I'm giving you a free guide PDF to let you know about the pros and cons of other areas throughout Boise that I maybe didn't cover in this video. Check that out right below for more information.
Nighttime is really, really cold. I mean, I say really cold, but it's like low 20s. I think that's pretty dang cold. You talk to people in like northern Idaho and they're like, shoot, it's been below zero like every night for the last 3 weeks. The cool thing though, with our snow situation is that we actually do get a ton of snow up at the mountains. So up at Bogus, like behind me up north, they get like 200 to 250 inches of snow a year. And it's about, from where I'm at right now, is about a 30-minute drive, which is like way cool that we have that close. Like I'm actually wearing all my snow gear right now because it's cold out today and I like to be warm. What are my tips for avoiding that winter gloom? And honestly, I go through it every single year. Usually it's around February time. I didn't know this, but like 3 or 4 years ago, my wife was like, I'm just having a really bad day. I feel like work sucks. I'm like, everything sucks. The kids are being crazy. Like, and I'm just in a really bad mood. And she's like, you know, babe, you do this every February. I think you just need to get outside and get some sunlight. And literally, that's like changed my life because she said that. And like at the time, it wasn't like funny because I was like obviously in a bad way, just feeling really like miserable. But looking back now though, it's like, it's hilarious because like I just didn't have enough sunlight and it was making me sad. That's probably my number one tip for winter is you still got to get outside. Like something my wife says, she's so smart, is there's no bad weather, just bad clothes. Like right now, I'm pretty miserable. Just layer up, but still get outside. Don't commit to just staying indoors because you're gonna want to because it's just so freaking cold outside. But if you just get up above the clouds, above the mountains, like up at Bogus Basin, which from Nampa right now, you're probably about an hour away. Go over to Bogus Basin, get above the clouds, and it's probably like 35 degrees right now. Just from experience, I know like the second you get above the clouds, the second you get into the sunlight, it warms up by like 10, 15 degrees. Tip number 2 for beating the inversion and surviving these Idaho winters is just layer up. Like even now, like, I mean, I don't just have like a shirt on, but I've got a long sleeve underneath this, or a t-shirt, like a long sleeve thermal, and then this long sleeve, and then obviously my vest. Really where I'm suffering is gloves. I'm doing it for you guys because I want you to know what it's like to live here so that when it comes time for you to make your move, you won't just live here, you will thrive here. I'm out here surviving these 21-degree temperatures so I can tell you about Idaho winters. Let me know if that's a deal breaker for you. I'm really curious to know because like I grew up here, I'm used to it. It doesn't bother me anymore. But if you're coming from California and you're on the beaches and it's like 50 degrees is like the lowest you're ever used to, then maybe this is a deal breaker. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. You're gonna be dealing with a lot of fog. Like I'm commuting right now. You can see out my window, like it's pretty foggy. Although today is not so bad. Like I can see a good 300, 400 yards in front of me. So it's not terrible. Be aware of that. Make sure your fog lights are working on your car. Also carry a scraper with you, or just plan on like having to thaw out your car. Because it traps air in, like that cold air, it doesn't like, air isn't allowed to flow as much. So if there's an inversion for like a really long time, air quality can get pretty bad because just all the fumes and like emissions from cars and things like that also gets trapped in the valley. So and I do remember that not so much recently, but fairly often when I was a kid, there would be like air quality warnings in the wintertime because the inversion is just trapping the nasty air in the valley. If you're someone who's sensitive to air quality and things like that, then maybe invest in an air purifier for the wintertime. I don't think this is like, well, I don't know. I'm not someone who's heavily affected by that, so maybe I just don't notice it. But just something to be aware of if you are someone who is affected by that. Or like I have friends with asthma. They've never really had issues with air quality in the wintertime. There's just certain times when it's like, okay, it's getting worse than usual, and usually the news will let you know. Number 1 tip for surviving in Idaho in the wintertime, and really just all year round weather advice. Treasure Valley HQ is the local Facebook page. You can go hop on there now and just kind of keep tabs on things. It gets drama, like every now and then, like any Facebook page does.
not that the weather is controversial, but sometimes people just have people get weird in the comments. You know that. He's a really good resource. Like if you want to keep tabs on weather and you're just sick of the news like most of the country is, during like when temperatures are extra cold, especially at nighttime, you're going to get this layer of frost and ice on the roads that doesn't melt away till like 11 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, 11 o'clock in the morning, like noon or 1 o'clock, something like that. When you're commuting to work and it's icy, like you can't always see it. So really be cautious there. I've had a few scares when I'm like, the road looks completely dry and normal and I'm going to brake and then it just starts sliding. So just be aware of that. Again, usually on Treasure Valley HQ or something like that, he's going to let you know that like, hey, these are conditions for some black ice, be careful in the morning, blah, blah, blah. That is more of the problem with commuting than obviously like snow and things like that in the wintertime, is just the icy conditions. In fact, the only 2 snow days I had growing up in Idaho, like 2 snow days in my entire life, my entire career as a student, were because of black ice, not because of deep snow. If you're moving out here for the right reasons, like don't try to make Idaho something that's like not. Like we love Idaho the way it is. Like I want you to be able to enjoy it. I want you to love living here as much as I do. Like I'm born and raised here and I think it's just the best place ever. I'll probably never leave. And if I do, it's just because I want to go on a vacation or something. Catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching and sticking around.